Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. I directed Backrooms. That kid's a fraud. That kid's full of shit. He's a fraud. I directed that movie. It was my fucking idea. And that money's mine, and we're coming for your throat. That is my fucking money. $100 million in the opening weekend. Backrooms, someone got lost in a store. That's my money. I directed that. What did they bring in opening weekend? Backrooms. 118 million globally. 118 million globally of my money stolen from me by the Hollywood system, by a child. And that other guy, Curry Barker, Obsession. I directed that. I also directed Obsession. How much did that bring in opening weekend? This is how Hollywood is going to repair itself, by the way. We're going to have young people with inspiring stories. But so first weekend was 17 million, second weekend 23 million, third weekend 26 million. Global gross surpassed 166 million worldwide, and it had a tiny budget of roughly 750,000 to 1 million. Now, these are undeniably Hollywood success stories, and many of you are out there going, and does that mean I'm going to have a similar experience? No. Do not read too much into this. This is not the beginning of a trend. This is not the beginning of a wave in which you will catch. This is not that. These are lovable flukes. They're flukes. That's what it means. And there's nothing, they are good movies and they're talented people. But it does not apply to you. It does not apply to you eating cat food in your living room on the floor. I bet I'll make $100 million. Shut up. You're not, this doesn't affect, you know how many losers I have had tell me that they feel inspired by this? I hate that. I hate that. They should do the reverse. It should make you feel that it is less impossible now than ever because they've already done it. But people need hope, and I get it, and I understand that, and I don't begrudge anyone that. I'm just saying I am getting calls from, zeros. It's unbelievable. The people that have my number somehow, some way, have ways to contact me, telling me, well, Hollywood be damned. These young fucks made a lot of money. And now, by the way, you would think, are these young people, Tim, calling you? Are they young people? No. Are they filmmakers even? Absolutely not. These are people in their middle age who are out of their minds. Many of them are on drugs, and they're calling me, and they're going, it all seems possible now. Finally, a movie did well at the box office, a horror movie, and it was made for a low budget. So I am going to replicate that. You will not. You are not going to do that. And by the way, if you do, great. Great. An egg on my face, but you will not be able to do that. So I just put these things in their perspective. Can anyone put anything in perspective? Can anyone just be happy for these gentlemen and put it in perspective? It does not mean that there is going to be a whirlwind of successful projects that will now involve you. It is quite rare that a movie at that budget makes that amount of money. Why? Well, I can prove it's rare because it's such a big fucking story. Like Spencer Pratt's going to be the new Trump, and then there's going to be all these people. It's not going to happen. Nothing is changing. Here is the message for today, and it is a message actually of hope. Nothing is changing. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is changing. Nothing is happening. The idea that things are happening is a mirage. It is not water in the desert. It is more desert. It looks like water, and if you feel like it's good, ooh, look, I have water now. We're going to get, honey, tell the donkey to just trudge on a little while longer. There's water over there. There is not. There is not. Nothing is happening. Karen Bass is winning again in L.A., whether you like it or not. I'm not commenting on whether you like it or not. I don't care what you think about it. It's going to happen. Nithya Raman will probably surpass him when the mail-in votes come in. They're all going to come in. She's already gaining on him. She's at 23.4. He's at 29.4. Bass is at 35. Listen, if things stay where they are, he had a second-place finish. It's a little impressive. But Karen Bass will get almost all, if not all, of Nithya Raman's votes and will breeze into the election. Spencer Pratt is excited because he can spend the next 5 months shooting his reality show. Does it mean that I hate Spencer Pratt or that all of his ideas are bad or whatever? Here's what it simply means. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Don't think it is. There's no shakeup. It's not happening. So you're reading too much into things. Now, all of these people that I talk to, the main problem I have with a lot of what they're saying is because everyone's so desperate and hopeless now, everybody is reading so much into every single thing that happens. And they're like, well, this is a groundbreaking Hollywood taking notice. What does that even mean? What does it mean? Hollywood's finally taking notice of... You can make an independent movie and they may buy it. But by the way, that was true 10 years ago. It's true now. And unless we're all in a cyber prison in 20 years or 10 years, it'll be true then. It's always been true. The Blair Witch Project. I was talking to Ray about that. Like, these things can happen. Now, will they be more frequent or I don't know. I don't know. Is Spencer Pratt going to grab the reins in the most liberal state in the country and win? No. It was never going to happen. Nothing is happening. How freeing and how beautiful that is. You can choose to make something different for dinner. You can make your choice to do what you want to do. But I'm telling you right now, stop looking for these grand narratives with things like this. Here's what Spencer Pratt should do. Spencer Pratt has claimed that if he loses this election, he is going to leave Los Angeles, California. This is his big quote. He's like, if I lose this election, I'm leaving Los Angeles. He's threatening to leave. Now, we know that Spencer Pratt, reality star, prominently featured on the show The Hills many years ago, has mounted a pretty successful campaign for mayor of Los Angeles using pretty adept social media skills. He's pretty funny. He's affable. And large parts of LA are an unlivable hellscape. And he's pointed that out. He's pointing it out. And people are going, they're happy with that. And he's going to save LA. And here's the thing about LA. It's the same. I was just in London. I'll talk about that in a minute briefly. But you don't need to save LA. You don't need to save London. None of it's going to be saved. There are large swaths of it that are actually great. They're fine. And the ones that aren't are only going to get worse. You know, I know that that's not this is why I don't run for anything. This is why I'm not like on the stump. Obviously, I don't want to be a politician, but like they have to get up and go, no. It's just a matter of one or two things. We fix that. Well, then it's all gravy. We fix that and everything's coming up, Rose. No. Skid Row's been Skid Row for a long fucking time. Has it gotten worse? Sure. Is it going to get better in LA? Probably not. Maybe marginally better for the Olympics. But you got to create a life in LA that you can insulate yourself. And by the way, that's all over the world. That's in Texas. That's in any of these red states that claim that they don't have these problems. Certainly in the blue states, they've gone insane. And if Democrats were smart, they go, why is our ideology moving people in the direction of Spencer Pratt? That would be a thought that they should have. Obviously, Seattle and Portland, LA, and San Francisco have gone insane, but San Francisco is getting better right now. Well, why is it getting better? Well, all the AI companies are moving in. So that's not great, but that's why San Francisco is getting better. Things don't always get better in the way that you would want them to get better. You go, oh, San Francisco, wow, I went the other day, I had dinner with my wife, and, it used to be a homeless guy, sitting on our car, but that's gone. Why? Well, a bunch of people have moved there to try to figure out how to build data centers to replace you and your family. And they want clean streets. Oh, that's why it's better? Yeah, it's the Eye of Sauron now. That's why it's better. There was no crime in Mordor. Everybody was on the same page. So things don't always get better in the way that you would want them to get better. For example, London recently just got rid of this non-dom rule, this non-domicile rule, which means for many, many years you could live in London as a predominantly full-time resident. But if you made your money in like Kazakhstan and natural gas or whatever, you didn't have to pay UK taxes on that. So it was kind of a fun scam. You'd come from another country, you'd have businesses in that country, and some of those countries didn't have high tax burdens, and you could live in the UK and enjoy the benefits of London and put your kids in a private school and go to Harrods, the big department store, and go to the restaurants and have your little dictator children drive their Ferraris around fucking Kensington and live that life and put them in little prep schools and have them be English gentlemen, and they'll have their little British accents. Father, why you wanted at The Hague? Father, all of these things. And then London recently, the UK just said, we're getting rid of non-dom. We're getting rid of that. You can no longer live here. Yeah, the UK non-domicile tax regime was officially abolished and replaced with a new residence-based system. High net worth individuals living in London no longer avoid UK taxes on worldwide income. Okay, here's what's happening. People are leaving. They're leaving. I'm just telling you what's happening. You can't run a scam for fucking years and then turn around to a bunch of people and go, hey, that scam we were running, we're not doing that anymore. But you still like the food, right? Don't you want to stay here for our fish pudding? No. Out. They leave. They go to Dubai and they go to wherever they go, and it doesn't even matter. A lot of them leave. Some of them stay, but a lot of those people who lived there primarily because it was a scam and it had things they liked, but the reason they liked those things so much is because they didn't have to pay for them. Now, we know that, by the way, and I've talked endlessly on this show about what a dysfunctional way to run a society this is. We know that. But we've done it for a long time. And when you make an abrupt change like that, it does have an effect. So when all of these AI companies converge on San Francisco to do things that all of us might not like, the actual metropolis of San Francisco starts looking a lot better. People start pumping money into it. People care about it. It's not in that quote-unquote doom loop that it was in. But why? Is it because we're paying teachers more? Or firefighters or nurses? Or is it because people can afford No, it's increasingly becoming unaffordable. So basically, you have an influx of AI money cleaning up this city. But it is getting cleaned up, but it's not the way that you would want. So Spencer Pratt has said, I'm going to leave Los Angeles if I lose. If I lose the mayoral race, I'm out. And here's what Spencer Pratt should do if he had balls. Spencer Pratt got into the race because his house burned down. His mother's house burned down. His entire block in the Palisades burned down. Spencer Pratt, if you are listening to this show, and I don't know if you are, if you lose, and you will, statistically, there is no way you can win, looking at the numbers, if you lose this election, you should not leave LA. You should burn it the fuck down, literally. Burn it the fuck down. Burn the rest of it down. Spencer Pratt should dedicate the rest of his life to going around LA at night like a psychopath with a gas can, burning down the homes of the people that weren't affected. Let them smell the smoke, Spencer. Let them breathe in the ash. Burn their fucking houses down. Get up, trash can man from the stand. Trash can man from the stand. Stephen King's miniseries to stand. There was a character called Trash Can Man. Spencer Pratt, if you are listening to this program, God, I hope you are. You must spend the rest of your life engaging in what they would call eco-terrorism. Eco-terrorism, meaning terrorism, environmental. You got to go out and start burning the fuck. You got to burn it down in the middle of the night. You're in a van. You get a couple of homeless people. You get a couple of assorted psychopaths, and you go out on nightly raids. You go out on nightly raids, and you burn this shit down. If Spencer Pratt was the man, this is Spencer Pratt if he's the man. If Spencer Pratt has it in him, when he loses, he immediately looks like this, and he becomes Trash Can Man. From the stand. Here he goes. This is how he goes into his campaign rally. When he declares, when he has to concede, this is what it looks like when he concedes. That's right. Burn it down, baby. Rediscover your love. Fire has brought Spencer Pratt. Okay, get rid of it. We get it. Spencer Pratt, fire has brought him back into relevance. Now, Spencer Pratt likes relevance. Now, it did it in a painful way. It took his home, but it's also filled him. There's more life in that man than I've seen in years. And I know that because he hasn't been on television in years. He's back, baby, in a big way. Now you must use fire, and it has to work for you. Start going on nightly raids. As soon as you lose this election, here's the thing. The glamour's over. You're not going to be the mayor. Fuck a reality show. Ain't nobody is going to watch that shit. You need to move into the final phase of your life because here's the thing. You will be killed or you will be imprisoned at the end of this. Your body will be riddled in a hail of bullets at the end of this because eventually the cops are going to pull out and they're going to go, yeah, we thought it was Spencer Pratt. And you're going to have a gas can and there's going to be a mansion on fire and you'll be laughing like the Joker. You'll be running down the street and you'll point at the cops. You go, you see this? You see what you made me do? That's his catchphrase. You see what you made me do? And you burn down large things, too. Obviously, homes, but very big homes and palatial homes, but also commercial buildings and strip malls. Try to burn, and some of this will have to use explosives. Sorry. And a few of them will die. You don't want to kill a lot of people, but there'll be a night guard or whatever, and he'll have to get it. But the point is this. You must, if you are Spencer Pratt and you lose the L.A. mayoral election, go on nightly raids and begin to plant explosives in L.A. buildings, both residential and commercial. Light buildings on fire. You're going to have to kill people. Not a lot of them, but a few of them will be collateral damage. Sadly, an onlooker or something, you can't control the blaze, and then you're going to need to tag all, there's going to be a massive FBI manhunt. There's going to be a massive FBI manhunt for you. People are going to be very upset, and you can't get caught for a while. You have to do these things pretty shrewdly so that it builds the mystique. It's like Banksy, that artist who never said who he was, but instead of making these dumb art things, he just burned down stuff. And you should tag all of the things you burn, and you should try to burn down as much as you can of Los Angeles before you are arrested or killed. You'll probably be killed. And you want to die. You want to die. I know you have kids and a wife. I get it. It's sad. You've chosen your path. I know it. You are right now to become a eco-terrorist on a level that we've never seen. I'm giving you instructions. I hope you take them. I'm telling you what you must do. These ballots might be not so smart. The ballot, whatever they're doing, the harvesting, whatever, she's getting all these mail-in ballots, fine. Here's what I'm saying, bub. I don't know that everything's on the up and up here. I don't know about that. So if I were you, I would grab a gas can and run through the city like a bat out of hell, and you should burn it all down. Start as many fires as you can in the 72 hours that you, right after you lose. And have an effect. Go out, and it would be like Batman if you still appeared on talk shows for a little while during the day, but started the fires at night, and then you could still have it be your big issue. You could be like, you see these fucking fires? Man, if I was in there. And then maybe there's a recall election. and Karen's out before they even catch you, and you do become the mayor. But Mr. Pratt, you will only be the mayor if you use the time after you lose, or now, before you even, if you're denied the opportunity of a runoff or whatever. Mr. Pratt, listen up. Serious advice, please. Listen up. Spencer Pratt, friend of the show. You must burn it down, literally, not figuratively. Sure, these campaign ads are cute, but you know what's really effective? Starting fires all over the city, like where the firemen can't even keep up with them. That's the advice. Spencer Pratt, that's the advice. Stash is an investing app that feels like having a financial advisor in your pocket. They've created this thing called Market Mood, which basically turns all the chaos of the stock market into a single mood. It's designed to help you understand how the news is impacting the stock market and make it easier to understand what's going on, even if you start investing now. Check today's Market Mood for yourself at stash.com/mood. That's stash.com/mood. It's free. It takes just 2 minutes. And you'll actually know what the market is doing today. You got to stop guessing and start knowing. Head over to stash.com/mood. This is the best way to really understand the market. Whether you're thinking about investing for months, you're in the market and just want deeper understanding and context, Market Mood gives you something most investing tools don't, a clear, honest daily answer to what's going on out there. What should I do next? This is a paid non-client endorsement, not a guarantee or representative of all clients' investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk. England, which I was just in, is admittedly a little bit cleaner than New York. New York, when you land at Newark, seems like a third world slum, even though New York is obviously not terrible. It's my city of, that I love and blah, 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 blah. But it was lovely being in London. They are having a little bit of their 2020 moment now, meaning like they're having issues with migration. They're having issues with speech. They're having a lot of protests. There's dueling protests. You've got the Tommy Robinson guy. He's like more of a, restore British sovereignty thing, anti-immigration. Then you have people on the other side of that are like, stop the support of Israel, and they also are like, hey, more immigration. So you have definitely a situation there that could get, it's a little combustible. And this sad thing happened where this kid, Henry Nowak, who was this kid in Southampton, the UK, was stabbed. He's a young kid, young guy, young man, 18, 19. He gets stabbed and by a Sikh. And these are usually very peaceful people, the Sikhs. And the Sikhs have a ceremonial knife. And the Sikh has a ceremonial knife, and he stabs Henry Nowak, and the cops show up, and the Sikh goes, hey, I was a victim of a hate crime. And Henry Nowak goes, hey, I was stabbed, and the cops, and the Sikh goes, he's lying, and like the other cop, one of the women goes, yeah, we know he's lying, but we got to check anyway. Well, it turns out they cuffed Henry Nowak, the kid who was stabbed, the white kid who was stabbed, and he bleeds out. And he then dies in handcuffs, and he says, I can't breathe, that thing that George Floyd said. And so now there is a huge kerfuffle, brouhaha, in the United Kingdom, and it's all over this. It's all over the idea that the police are showing preferential treatment to migrants or non-white people, perhaps. This is the idea. Certain edicts have come out, like directives from the cops saying that we have, this idea of two-tier policing. There is a quote in the directive saying we're not going to treat everyone equally, which basically means like we realize there's been inequity in how we've dealt with different groups of people, and we're going to correct that now. And so what that has led to is if this young white kid goes, hey, I got stabbed, and this Sikh was like, hey, he didn't, or the Sikh goes, he's lying, and I was the victim of a hate crime because of these directives that require cops to take all this other stuff into account. They're not just appraising the scene. They're going, well, let's look at the historical context. And these are cops. These are not bright people. No offense to cops, but they're not the brightest people. That doesn't mean they're the dumbest people, but police are not the brightest people. So you're asking a cop who's like a cop. And I'm not saying I'm not denigrating them. I believe we need them. I believe we should pay them. But a cop really should just respond to the facts on the ground, and some of them can't even do that. So now we're asking them to take, like, all of these other considerations into account about, like, what is the historical trauma that might be playing out here and on what scale, and how can I use my position as a cop, they dress insane in Britain, they have these little hats, they walk around with a club, they don't even have guns, like, and they're like, how can I use my position here to make sure that I'm honoring the directives from the Home Office telling me that I need to be equitable in all my actions. Official guidance documents from bodies like the College of Policing and the National Police Chiefs Council state that equality and fairness are sometimes achieved through equity rather than by treating everyone the same. The cop doesn't even know what that means. A cop does not even know what that means. By the way, I don't even agree with that, but I know what it means. I'm a genius. I'm a podcaster. But these cops, a lot of them are idiots. They have clubs. They just walk around. They just club the job of a British cop is you see an Irish guy in the street and you hit him. You hit him to get him back into his little slum. Get in your slum, you dumb Mick. That's what my whole family dealt with for years. Some drunk from my family would just start going out in the street and yelling and screaming, and some constable would hop out of the car dressed like Paddington the Bear and start whacking him with a club, and they would gang up on him and hit him with a club. Now you're asking these people who, like, live in a pretend reality over there, like, and it's not to say that, like, it's just a different thing over there. They've got, I'm the Baroness of, shut up, it's fake, it's fine, but, like, my husband is 200th in line to the throne, he's the Earl of, whatever. Now we're asking these people to understand what that even means. Fairness is sometimes achieved through equity, rather than, they don't know what equity means, they don't know what any of it means. Anti-racism framework, such as the Police Race Action Plan, which instruct officers to consider the distinct historical and demographic context of different communities of suspects. Oh my God, what? Hit the Irishman with a stick. That was their job for 200 years. Hit the Irish drunk with a stick, back him down, and then put him back in his slum. Now we want them to consider the historical and demographic context of different communities and suspects rather than utilizing an entirely colorblind approach. So these cops show up on the thing. They got a Sikh and a white kid bleeding out. The Sikh goes, this white kid's being a racist. Now, they can't doubt that. They have to agree with the Sikh. All right, let's watch this. It is depressing because what is this? The kid's dying, right? This is sad.
Yeah, this is the body cam footage.
All right, this is body cam footage. So we are going to watch this, but don't put an ad right after this because someone will get pissed. It's very hard to watch somebody bleed out and then try to sell fucking, Blue Chew or whatever the fuck we're selling on this goddamn. Put it on. R.I.P. to everyone, by the way. This is the body cam footage of this. Here we are.
Fallen from there and slipped from there.
There's other shoes left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate?
What's your name, mate?
Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
See, stop it for a minute. Can you tell how dumb the cops are already? Has anyone been hurt other than him? The cops are drunk. The cops are stabbing. Do you know how dumb? Can you imagine the guy that you just heard in this video? Can you imagine asking him, is he considering the framework, the historical framework of what happened? What historical framework? Someone got knifed. It happens every day. It's not about the historical framework, but think about that. As you listen to this call, anybody other than him? What's going on over there, love? Hey, bruv, what'd you do? You got a little excited with the blade. I think I slip into Australian, when I do a British like that, I do slip into an Australian accent, now people are going to say, are you breaking up this death video to do bits? Here's the thing, folks. The kid's already dead. Did I stab him? No, a Sikh did with a ceremonial knife. But my thing is this. Think of how dumb these cops are. I mean, they're real retards over there, the cops. They're dumb. They're dumb here. They're dumb in most places. Not all cops. By the way, there's cops that listen to this show. You are brilliant. You're the smartest people in the world. I'm not talking to you. If you listen to this show and you buy the products and the ads and you like and subscribe and tell your friends about the show and you help the show move up the charts, I am obviously not speaking about you. But the people you hate at work, those idiots who don't listen to me, who listen to other people, it's them. They're the fucking problem, and we both know that. But we're asking these lughead, empty-head cops in the UK, whose entire job for 200 years was just beating drunks in the street with a club. That's what they would do. That's their whole job. They had a row at a pub. Like, someone has a row at a pub. Somebody gets thrown through a window, and then they come in and they start hitting that guy with the club. And then they bring him to the jail. Now we're asking them to, well, can you assess the cultural ramifications of the, what? What are you talking about? Okay, let's play the rest of this, please, here. Let's treat this sensitively, folks.
Right, my brother, he's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bruise.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
Got this stud.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
By the way, I'm going to use this the next time I'm in the UK and somebody's like, Mr. Dillon, did you smoke a cigarette in the room? I'm going to go, someone took my turban. Why don't you focus on that? Focus on someone who just stole my turban.
Grab his other arm. What's happened to you, right? You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
I don't think you have. See? So immediately, the cops who are, which is a hilarious thing to lie about being stabbed. There is just something, now I guess drunk people lie about everything, but there is just something funny about like going like, I've been stabbed, and then they like lift up your shirt and you're not stabbed and you just shrug and you're like, gotcha. So this guy goes, I've been stabbed. And they go, I don't think you have. So their initial reaction is to go, I don't think you've been stabbed, mate. I don't think you've been stabbed. I wish this was all with the northern accents. I love the northern accents where they're like, brekkie, I eat my brekkie. Mordor. That's like that SD kid from Liverpool. I like the Scouse accent. Bach. Take a bach. Take a bach. You ever see that show Adolescence? They're like, Jamie, why you? That's a fun show, that Adolescence. It's about this kid who's inspired by Andrew Tate to carve a bitch up in a parking lot. Now, it was a little heavy, but what? The acting's phenomenal. Now, it's a little heavy-handed on the messaging. Like, it's a little like there's a part in it where, like, they're like, why did you stab this girl? And, like, the kid's like, well, I was listening to Joe Rogan. I was listening to Joe Rogan. And I'll go down a rabbit hole. And I found Andrew Tate. And then from Andrew Tate, it's a little heavy-handed with the messaging there. But it's phenomenal acting, and it's great acting. But I do like that northern accent, so I would prefer this death video to be in that sort of dialect. But let's see a little bit more of it. I don't want to be ghoulish and keep watching it, but so this is what people are upset about over there, because this kid goes, hey, I've been stabbed, and the cop goes, no, you haven't. Because the cop looks at him, he's a white kid, the cop's like, you're probably fibbing, I have to believe this Sikh. Go on.
You've got nothing. I want to keep you up.
Hand.
I can't breathe.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate.
Yeah, so, I mean, all right, this is ghoulish. Get out of here. We don't want to watch this, but, so they're cuffing this dead kid on the ground. So now, obviously, the two reactions to this are let's attack random brown people. Obviously, wrong, bad, not good. We don't want to start doing that. That's terrible. That's anti-civilization. That's violence. That's insane. That's whatever. We all know this. And then the other response to it is from like the polite society people is to ignore it completely and to go, it actually doesn't mean anything. There's no meaning to be found in this one. There's meaning to be found in every other thing, but not this one. Like, so you go in London and people are very terrified there of offending anyone. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Like I asked a comic to open for me. I did a couple of shows there. Sweet kid, nice kid. But he was like, oh. And he was like, well, one night I have a funeral and the next night I have a show. And so, but again, because here's the deal. These people, there's no real internet stuff going on over there. You work for the BBC. If the BBC calls you a racist, you starve in the street and you die. People there, they're 10 years behind us. They read tabloids in the supermarket. They watch what's on the tube. They watch BBC, what's on the telly. They like rules. They like and I'm not saying that we're great, by the way. Every week I say we're not great. But I will say that what they are used to over there is much more of a top-down paramilitary type of like overt system of customs, laws, rules. Some of those things are nice. Some of them are quaint. Some of them seem a little silly in 2026. But all of them inspire a sense of compliance a little bit in the public. And those people tend to be a little afraid, like they're stunned in America that we can kind of say what we want, wherever we want, and that we get paid to do it. That is not the way that happens over there. Now, it doesn't mean that you have brilliant comedians there. Ricky Gervais and Jimmy Carr and a lot of people. And I'm not saying people are getting arrested for making an off-color joke. But what I am saying is there is much more social pressure in that system currently to have the quote-unquote right opinion than there is in the United States. Because we had that 2020 moment 6 years ago. They're having it now. Not directly attributable to this case. I just mean like the dam is breaking. People are a little sick of not being able to discuss things that are actually happening around them. And they feel that they are being stymied by a system of customs and, requirements that none of them signed up for. And the way that they have to conduct these conversations in polite society, they feel like they have been limited and they're getting sick of that. So they are basically, the dam is breaking, because that's the thing. When you try to shut people up, it will work for a period of time. And then you have to start killing them. You actually have to start killing people because people's mouths are so big. And it's what most people do. Most people just talk. Some people fight. Some people go rowing. Some people jog up a hill. Some people use drugs. But most people, the predominant thing they do in their life is talk. That is what they do. That's the muscle that gets used the most. That's what people do. So when you shut that off or guilt people into doing it a certain way or try to control it, it will never work forever. Then you have to move in and kill them. You have to do two things with a mouth: buy them or kill them. You have to buy them off or kill them. So that's basically where Britain is right now. I loved my time in London. I was there 21 days. We missed last week. And I appreciate it. I like it there. It's an important place. A lot of my friends, listen, I went to France for a few days. I love that. Italy, south of France are more beautiful. The food's better, whatever. They're not interesting, and they don't matter. South of France and Italy are just not interesting, and they don't matter. London's interesting. It's one of the oldest societies in the world. One of the other ones, Beirut, is getting destroyed right now by Israel, a country whose commitment to peace is, I got to be honest, a little questionable. But Britain is one of the oldest civilized societies in the world. There's many others. You're saying that because they're white. No, it's just one of the oldest. And they've been around a long time. London's an amazing city. It's cosmopolitan. It's global. But the tension points of that culture and the way and the benefits of it, the things where they do things a lot better than we do, are interesting to see, and the things where they don't do things as well as I think we do. Those are interesting things for me to observe and to think about. And I talk to a lot of people there that are starting to admit, and I saw Pierce, of course, we had a lot of fun on his show, Pierce Morgan, but they are admitting that there's some issues there. And I don't know. I mean, this guy got sentenced, this Digwa guy who stabbed that kid in RIP. That kid's parents came out and said, we don't want this to be the cause of riots. We don't want, but whatever. I mean, in the sense that, like, I don't know that matters, it doesn't matter. There's always the person who's usually when somebody dies, the person comes out and goes, let's not. You know, he wouldn't have wanted this. And people just don't care. That's not why they're doing it. They're not rioting to honor him. They're rioting to riot. That's why people riot. But so they do have some issues there. This podcast is brought to you by Neuro Gum. It's the makers of the world's smartest gum. Neuro just dropped their new energy and focus mint variety pack, so can't decide on which flavor to try. Try them all. Peppermint, spearmint, wintergreen. Leave the dumb stuff behind and make the switch to smart gums and mints. My favorite is the new mint variety pack. Peppermint, spearmint, wintergreen. Neuro energy and focus is powered by natural green tea, caffeine, L-theanine for calm focus, and vitamin B12 plus B6 for better mood and metabolism. No sugar, no aspartame, no crash, which means I don't feel like I need to apologize to my body afterwards. Neuro's memory and focus gum are made with American ginseng to support mental clarity minus the jitters. For a limited time, you can get 20% off your first order at neurogum.com by using code TIM. That's neurogum.com. Use code TIM for 20% off your first order. You can also find Neuro at CVS and Amazon. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. Just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month, and you'll get your lowest rate from their network of trusted carriers. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 4,000 reviews. Take 10 minutes to get covered today with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com. You know it's so important to get life insurance? I've always said this. I've always said it was so important to get life insurance because I know people that have not had life insurance, and it sucks. Because why? Life insurance provides your family money if something happens, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. I'll just tell you a quick story, and this might scare you into getting life insurance, but it might not, but it should. My friend, completely healthy guy, okay? I don't know what happens to this guy. He just has bad luck, this guy, okay? He's driving to work, and he's going to speed limit. He's a very conservative driver. He's not doing anything wrong. That's why he didn't get in any accidents, and he pulls his car up, and he's at work. So then he's at work. He gets in the elevator and he's going up. And the elevator was repaired 2 days ago, but the people who repaired it were competent. So he has no problem in the elevator. Gets right up to his office. He walks right out. How you doing, Fern? Hey. He goes and he gets a cup of scalding hot coffee, but he's very careful. So the coffee doesn't do anything. He just walks it back to his desk. He puts it on his desk. So it's like this weird Final Destination day. You're like, what happens? What goes on? What's going to get him, right? Then the boss is like, we want to show you this big new machine we got in one of the rooms. So he goes into this big new machine, and he stands really close to it, and the machine's very powerful. But because he's very careful and smart, he doesn't get mixed up, and the machine does nothing to him. He goes right back to his desk. This guy pulls a gun out and blows his brains out in the middle of the office. No warning to anyone. He doesn't say anything. He just gets up and he stares at the woman next to him, who he didn't even know. She was a temp. And he puts a gun in his mouth, and then she said he smiled like a sick little smile, and then he blew his brains out, and then there was brain matter all over the office, and nobody knew why, and no one still, to this day, knows how he even got the gun. And the craziest thing about this story, I don't even think he got the life insurance because he took his own life and no one knows why. Ethos.com. Take 10 minutes to get covered today with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Tim. Application times may vary, rates may vary. That's ethos.com/Tim. One of the stories I read over there, because I do remember speaking of 2020, I do remember living in LA and the TikTokers were running the city. All the older celebrities were scared of getting bad press for going out, and the young TikTokers didn't care. They were like 16. You'd be at a restaurant, and you'd see like these mobs of children. You didn't know who they were, but they were all millionaires, and some waitress would have to explain to them what Bernaise sauce was, and it was terribly embarrassing because all those waiters and waitresses had moved to LA to be actors, and of course, because of the pandemic, they couldn't get any work, and then the only people that were making any money were these kids doing these dances on TikTok. Now this seems like ancient history, and it is. But the biggest of all of these people was Charlie D'Amelio. and her sister Dixie D'Amelio. They were the two biggest TikTokers of their generation. There were several others, Addison Rae and whatever, but the D'Amelios symbolized the meteoric rise you could have on TikTok. Now, and we've talked about them before on the show a few times, their parents recently have been accused of stealing their money. Stealing Charli D'Amelio, who's the younger of the two sisters and was the more successful one. I did not steal from my daughter Charli D'Amelio's dad. Well, here's what I say to that, you cuck. You should have. You should have. The D'Amelio, and yes, of course he's probably stole from his daughter, allegedly. Let's read a little bit. Charli D'Amelio's dad is fighting back against claims millions of dollars were stolen from her account while under the watch of him and his wife. The report originally came from Duman, alleged the TikTok superstar became aware of the missing cash after her parents, Mark and Heidi, were supposed to have been removed from her account. The gossip account also posted that the issue caused a rift in the family, with Charli's sister, Dixie, siding with their parents. Mark D'Amelio said, "No one called me for an interview. This is not true. We love Charli, but she's being manipulated and I have the receipts. Over the last 6 years, we have remained silent and never addressed gossip, but the time has come to set the record straight." She's always had a team in place. Lawyers, a business manager, an agent. We purposely set it up that way. Not sure if you know anything about our family, but we were doing fine before TikTok. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks. Here's the deal. This is what it is. When your children are famous, when your children get famous, you have every right, listen to me out there, you have every right to steal their money. It is a time-honored tradition. It is the reason that your children are famous. It's so that you can steal their money. Your children are not, first of all, that lady, Ms. D'Amelio, was not famous for any real reason. She was famous because a Chinese guy flipped the switch and she looked like the girl next door. And this is all kind of well known now about what TikTok was and kind of is. And they created these things called icons in the beginning of TikTok to get people onto the site. And they chose people that had certain looks. And Charli D'Amelio was a girl next door and she was a dancer. And it was a dancing app and she got famous. And was she a hard worker? Sure, maybe. Is she a lovely person? Maybe she is. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, her parents were well within their rights to steal her money because she was famous for nothing, easy come, easy go, and they, okay, is this him talking about it?
Yeah.
Let's see this liar. Let's see this liar. By the way, of course, I would have stolen her money. If that bitch, I would have been like, she's famous for doing what now? She's making what for what? Our daughter's a multimillionaire. She's shaking her ass on TikTok for pedophiles. I'm stealing the money. We're pimping our daughter out for fucking pedophiles on a Chinese dancing app. Yes, I'll be stealing the money. What is this, Masterpiece Theater? This is a disease. This app was a disease. It was like a weapon used against us, whatever it was. This whole idea, steal him. Now, this guy's a shady fuck. We've talked about him on the show before. The whole family's criminals. I met them one time, actually really liked them because of that. And he had every right, and in fact, dare I say, responsibility to steal money from his talentless children. When you are a parent of a successful child, you hate them. I'll say it again. When you are a parent of a successful child, you hate them. A part of you hates them. You're living vicariously through them. The oldest and greatest musical in our country, Gypsy, is about this thing. And Audra McDonald was brilliant in it. Now it's off, and you'll never see it on Broadway. But the point is this. It is a long-held American tradition to try to live vicariously through your children. And when they make it, a part of you burns inside because even though you are happy for them, you are angry that it is not you on the stage. It is not you shaking your ass on a Chinese dancing app. It is not you that People Magazine wants to do the interview with. And you're like, but I raised her. She has my DNA. I'm the one that's interesting. I'm the one that's worked hard. So the only thing left you have to do at that point is to steal their money. That's why they steal all of their money. Because they hate their children. Not every part of them, but they get so successful, and then the parents, they have to do something. So in order to feel better about this, they steal their children's money, and I could not be more supportive of this. I believe in this. I defend this man. I wish he stole all of her money. I wish he stole it all and gave it to Israel. I wish he stole every dollar she earned and gave it to Israel, because they are committed to peace. By the way, they are committed. I've never seen a country as committed to peace as that country. Let's listen to this. Mark D'Amelio, friend of the show, defending himself, I guess, against accusations that he stole his daughter's money. I would go the other way on this. I would go, her money's my money. She was a minor. She lived in my house. She was dancing on a Chinese app. I get her money, and I get to decide what she makes. Mark D'Amelio.
And look, someone just wrote another.
Stop it right there. Everyone that starts, hey, look, is guilty. There is no hey, look. There is no innocent person in this country who starts a sentence with, hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, look. Play that again. Play those two words again, please.
And look, someone just wrote.
Yeah. Hey, look. People are saying I stole my daughter's money. Hey, look. What do you want me to do? She had money. It was in the bank. We don't even know why. We don't get it. The world went mad. They started giving these 16-year-olds money to do lip-syncing challenges. Yeah, I stole it. What do you think I'm going to do? Not steal it? Let's hear him out.
Another family ruined by fame. We're not ruined. I feel more normal now than I ever did. I'm just not going to let people lie. So a website that said
He's, by the way, stop this video. I've never seen a guiltier person than this man. I have the laughing in them. He's like, we're not. I feel more normal now than I ever have. I mean, this guy is so incredibly guilty. Look at him. Look how much he enjoys stealing that money. Look at that face. Look how happy he is stealing that money. Why would you want him to not steal that money? She's still got enough money. It's fine. You know, here's the deal. It's a little selfish of Charli D'Amelio to walk out on her parents just because they stole her money. She's the problem. She's the one who's destroying the family. She has enough money. She should just let her parents steal from her, because it's the only thing that keeps them alive. The only thing that is keeping them alive and keeping them happy, the only thing that makes him feel like a man is stealing from his daughter. And the fact that she takes that away from him is disgusting. It's disgusting. The fact that she would ruin a family unit by calling him out on this publicly is disgusting. Let's finish here, please.
I forgot. They said something along the lines of, we took money and put it offshore. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Okay. By the way, stop it. This is another thing that people go, they're like, I wouldn't even know how to do. What do you mean? What do you mean you wouldn't know how to do it? They're saying we put money offshore. I wouldn't even know how to do it. What does that even mean? You just go to the Cayman Islands, ask somebody. Take a flight to the Cayman Islands and sit there and go, how could we make some of this money to go to Switzerland? Go ask, what are you talking about? Ask another rich person. Ask a wealthy person. What do you mean? I wouldn't even know how to. I don't even.
Like, come on, dude. We got our own money. We're fine. Going through this process was never about money.
It isn't. Stop it. He's right about that. It's not that they were destitute or needed her money. He was not stealing from her because he needed her money. He was stealing from her because it made him feel like a man and it made him feel alive. And he hates his children because they are successful. And I respect and honor that. And I acknowledge that, and that it is uncomfortable and painful. But many parents, including my own, hate their children because they are successful. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. I still love my parents. It doesn't matter. I don't begrudge them that feeling. But this man, it was never, he's right about that. See, that's when he goes, it's never about money. That's the only time he's telling the truth, because it isn't. He didn't steal from her because he needed the money. He stole from her because he felt like it was the right thing to do. He felt undervalued. He resented her level of success, and he stole her money because of that. And I side with him, and I say a pox on his daughter, that witch, who said, you stole my money. She should have quietly kept her mouth shut and said, I realize how important it is for my father to steal this money so he can feel alive. Play it.
Having this crazy, awesome experience with my family, and that's it. So the balance of being a dad when you're going through this, when your kids are making a lot of money, the hard part is
not stealing from
like you see opportunity that I never had as a kid.
There it is.
I also saw the other dads. Like,
here it is.
I heard about Michael Jackson's dad and these
Right.
crazy dads that just push their kids.
Yeah.
I never did that.
Right. You're like, why do they have any money? You're like, why? What is he? See, they always tell on themselves. Everyone tells on themselves. So what's happening here is he's confessing. This is a confession. He thinks this is what's hilarious. He thinks it's a denial. It's a confession. He thinks he's denying the charges. He's confessing to the crime. This is unbelievable. He's like, you see these kids get famous. Here's what an honest person does, or at least a smart person who's dishonest. Ready? Yeah, I hope her mental health is okay, and I hope she's not on any kind of drugs, because she's clearly being manipulated by people, and I love her. She's my daughter and would love to talk to her whenever she wants to talk to me without cameras. Good night. That's what somebody who's either not guilty does, or someone who's guilty and smart. Here's what someone who's guilty and dumb does. When your kids are famous, you see a lot of opportunities they had, you didn't have, and you think of Michael Jackson's father and all these other fathers, they pushed your kids, and I never did anything like that, so basically, where's mine? What do I get out of this? I got a bunch of pedophiles jacking to my daughter, and my underage daughter, and she's up there shaking her ass, and what am I supposed to get? No money out of this? I'm supposed to get nothing out of this? Keep going here. Mark D'Amelio, friend of the show.
Businesses and things that gave them opportunity to do whatever they wanted when down the road, and that was it. And if I'm a bad guy for setting my kids up for success and putting them in places where they can make a lot of money, I mean, we're living the dream. That's it.
By the way, stop it for a second. His daughter, this is how funny it is. His daughter is accusing him of stealing her money. He goes, we're living the dream. But this is the American dream. By the way, here's another thing I'm going to agree with him on. This is the American dream. The American dream is to prop up your talentless children and to dupe pedophiles into paying for their content and then to steal their money. And then to have them leave your house and grab lawyers and accuse you of stealing it. That is by the way, he's correct. He goes, we're living a dream. My daughter got famous on a Chinese app that was watched by pedophiles. She made a lot of money and I stole it. And now she left and she's suing me. And we're living the dream because he's right. That is the American dream. It's not, what do you think it is now? Owning a house, 2.5 kids, white picket fence, get real. This is the only dream left, and he's right. That's why he's not really upset. He's not really upset about any of this. It's kind of he's not fazed by it. He's not upset his daughter's accusing him of stealing money. He thinks it's funny. He kind of thinks it's funny. He's very cash about the whole thing. He's casual because the reality is he knows she's not famous for any goddamn reason. He knows that life's a horrific casino. There's children more talented than her that are being lit on fire in mass in Gaza right now because they happen to be born there. And it's a horrific fact. That kid, Henry Nowak, just gets stabbed or whatever. I don't know, but you put him in these positions. What position? You put her in a dance class? Shut up. She got famous, and that's okay. It's all created equal. Talent is obviously not created equal, but whatever. She made her money. A lot of these TikTok kids were nice kids when I met them. We'd go out to dinner and they'd be like, hey, man, I'm a fan. They were nice. I never knew any of them that well, but they were all somewhat respectful kids. Some of them are mentally ill and have killed people, whatever. It's not my problem. As long as you were nice to me for a brief period of time, you're okay in my book. You're okay in my book, even if you're a murderer. So what, truly, If you are okay in my book, then that's my book. I get that book. You did other things to other people. So this guy is just basically saying, I stole my daughter's money because at the end of the day, what did you want me to do? What was I supposed to do? There's all this money around that my daughter has and I don't have, and I can't get famous like she does. I can't shake my ass on the camera for money. I have to steal the money. That's because when is it my turn? You seen Gypsy? They should do an updated Gypsy. There's a show Gypsy about this woman whose daughter, Gypsy Rose Lee, becomes a burlesque dancer. She starts out in vaudeville, and she's trying to make her daughter famous. And this woman is obsessed with making her daughter famous. Her daughter only gets famous as a burlesque dancer. And the penultimate song of this musical, these are all the people that doubt I'm gay, hear this. The penultimate song of the musical it's called Everything's Coming Up Roses, where this woman finally confronts that she's never going to be famous and her daughter doesn't need her anymore. And there's this really powerful song where she goes, what is it my turn? When do I get a dream for myself? And then she's like, it's going to be me. And she's like, in this massive delusion where she thinks she's on stage and she's doing this whole thing. And this is Mark D'Amelio. When is it my turn? My daughter entertained pedophiles on an app made by the Chinese. When do I get a dream for myself? And then at the end, everything's coming up roses. And that's Mark D'Amelio. Everything's coming up roses. I stole all that bitch's money. Because he's right. This is the oldest dream in America, is to live vicariously through your children, watch them be successful, and then hate them. It's just what it is. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand used by over 1.5 million people. I'm telling you, I have friends that are taking it, and they love it. Nutrafol has formulas built for men at different life stages. Nutrafol Men for guys 18 to 49, the new Nutrafol Men 50+, which is the first product of its kind, specifically made for men over 50. Address the key root causes of thinning wherever you're at in life. Grow visibly thicker, fuller hair in 3 to 6 months. Nutrafol is backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF certified for sport, the gold standard for supplement quality. You know exactly what you're putting in your body. Start Nutrafol today and make the hat optional. Visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code TIM for $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping. Find out why Nutrafol is best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code TIM, that's Nutrafol.com, promo code TIM. Mud water, it's amazing. Are you one of these people who loves coffee, the taste, the smell, the whole ritual, but the caffeine sends you straight into an anxiety spiral? Same. I love trying new coffee shops and fun seasonal drinks, but one full cup and suddenly my heart is sprinting and my brain is running in 5 different directions at once. That's why I love Mud water. Same morning ritual, coffee, chai, or matcha, but with functional mushrooms and adaptogens instead of a full caffeine hit. Steady energy, no spiral. I've been loving the original blend. It's cacao, chai, turmeric, and functional mushrooms like a spicy hot cocoa, warm, grounding, actually satisfying. For coffee lovers who just can't handle the full caffeine load anymore, Mud water is a version of your morning drink you didn't know existed, because loving coffee shouldn't mean negotiating with it every morning. The best way to start is the starter kit. It's designed to set you up with everything you need to actually build the habit. When you order, you get the full size on your chosen blend, plus a free rechargeable frother, free gifts, and free shipping. Ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Go to mudwater.com/Tim Dillon and get the starter kit. Use code Tim Dillon and you'll get 43% off. The frother alone is worth it. That's right, up to 43% off with code Tim Dillon. That's MUDWTR.com. After you purchase it, they'll ask how you found them. Please show your support and let them know we sent you. Quickly, let's talk a little bit about another legacy, Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, who I just get a good feeling from him. I don't know anyone else. Does anyone else just get a good feeling from Jared Kushner? I get a good feeling from Jared Kushner. I do. And so here's Ivanka Trump talking about a big project. And I've always said this about marriages. You need a project. I've said this. Whether it's a home renovation or, looking at colleges for the kids, whatever it is, you need a project as a married couple. Maybe you're restoring an old barn. The wife wants an art studio. You want a man cave, whatever. So Jared and Ivanka Trump Jared and Ivanka Trump are building a massive off-the-grid private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. Now, you would think, hey, Epstein's thing, the files, it's probably a bad look to go do this right now. But who cares? The island spans 1,400 hectares and currently has no power. They'll be working with some of the world's greatest living architects to bring this vision to life. So people that voted for Trump because he wanted to improve, or supposedly wanted to improve, the economic quality of the lives of the average or ordinary working class American. He wanted to restore sanity to the immigration system. He wanted to get rid of the DEI, go back to more of a merit-based appraisal of people's talent, because he thought, and I agree with him in the sense that DEI in and of itself is inherently un-American, and it radicalizes people all over the place. And unfortunately, even though we're an imperfect society, we're certainly not colorblind, we do need to consider merit in the sense of how we assign value to people and their jobs. And so he was going to do all of this. He was going to help Americans afford groceries. And he was going to be more transparent about areas where the government might have been hiding things, 9/11, Epstein, whatever. None of that has happened. However, his daughter and her husband are building an island, or they're building a resort. She's going to tell us what it is. But here's what I'll say. It's exciting. I'm excited by this. And I know that none of the other stuff happened, but at least this is something exciting. Here's Ivanka Trump, everyone.
An incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
Yes.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes,
it is.
There's no power on this island.
Whoa.
You're building everything from scratch.
Yes.
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to...
Stop it for a minute. Here's the great thing about the czars. Because they're czarists. They're czarists. And I have great respect for Russia. I don't want to live there. I'm not in love with Putin all the time. I do think some of what he does is fun. The bear and, going in those cold legs. Don't love all of their policies, obviously. Wouldn't want to live there. I'm kind of bummed that I can't get a direct flight there from a NATO country, because I do want to try where they invented chicken Kiev. But I want to go to St. Petersburg and Moscow. It's an old society that's produced lots of literature. Conservatives jerk it off because they're a little stupid and they don't really understand. It's like they pretend it's a religious society. It's like it was a communist society of forced atheism for years. But whatever, everything's fake and nothing matters. So it doesn't matter. So whatever, just... whatever you want to do. You can believe anything you want to believe, but I don't think we should go to war with Russia. I don't think we should antagonize Russia. I think we should just leave it be and let me go there and have dinner. That being said, these are czarists, the Trump family. They've become czar. They want you to know how much they don't live your life. And in the beginning, that was cute, because it was honest. When Trump got out there and he was like, this plane, they said it would take off and it didn't. It was his own plane. And he was honest with people, and they liked it because it was refreshing to hear a rich guy not pretend to be broke. When I go to these cities, I go to London and Paris, I'm fortunate enough, because of people that listen to the show, I'm very grateful, that I can stay in nice hotels. And whenever I stay in a nice hotel, inevitably I'm confronted with somebody who goes, yeah, but that's not the real London. That's not the real Paris. I'm like, that's right. That's correct. I don't want to see the real London or the real Paris. Maybe I'll walk through it, but I don't care. There is no real London or real Paris anymore. Those are just rich kids LARPing as something they're not. Let's just go to where the rich people don't pretend to be anything but rich. Let's cut it out. I need to go hang out in some hipster suburb with it. So let me just hang out with their parents. Let me have fucking tea with their parents. Why do I need to hang out with them? Why? Because they posted something progressive on the internet? I forget how rich they fucking are. There is no real, you got to see the real London. The real London is that kid getting stabbed. I don't want to go to that. That wasn't in London, but it's a little outside of it. But that's the real, what is the real anything? No, I want to see where people don't pretend to be anything other than what it is. In the beginning, when the Trumps emerged, and Donald, these people are nothing. They mean nothing. They're the runoff of a dynasty. But like he was honest with people, and it made them like him because he did not pretend to be in any way relatable. He was an egotistical maniac who told people, nobody does it like me. You know, when this concert, he's going to do this concert to celebrate America's 250th anniversary and all these acts pulled out. He goes, let's just replace him with the greatest act of all time. The guy who filled more seats than Elvis in his prime and did it without a guitar. Donald J. Trump. Like, he's a czarist. He's still that guy. But now that people are broke and he's selling the government off for parts and no one cares, it's not cute anymore. It's not fun anymore. Because everybody was like, we want him to be our czar. Even me. I was like, what a great movie. The rich scumbag becomes the rich scumbag of the people? What a movie. The leader of America is never going to be not a rich scumbag. I'm 41. I didn't grow up in another country. I know who we are, and I know what this thing is. And I know what it's always been. Well, you're naive. No, you thought Sanders was going to win, you fucktard. You're naive. He got sandbagged by his own fucking people. They were never going to let him win. I just thought maybe there was a chance that the rich scumbag liar was going to do it for us. There was that chance. Maybe that's how the movie ended. Now, it was not. I'll admit that. But that belief was as patriotic as I could get. There was as patriotic as I knew you like Obama because he went on talk shows and he was a cerebral, contemplative guy. But they locked up a lot of whistleblowers and threw a lot of people out of their houses and deported a lot of people. But you don't give a shit because Jimmy Kimmel didn't talk about it, you moron. But I thought maybe this rich scumbag could have been the rich scumbag for America, but he was not. He's for Israel. He's for Qatar if they give him a plane. These people are talking about an island in the Mediterranean. We're going to let her finish, but keep in mind as you listen to the rest of this how little they go watch that movie Melania if you think, it's just her walking out of a G6, G5 plane, going to Palm Beach. The first 15 minutes are her getting fitted for an outfit. They want to sell you the way that Russia did for many years, the greatness and the glory of the state. And they are the state. We are the hottest country in the world. What that means when he says that is that my family is getting rich and you live vicariously through us. He's turning us all into Mark D'Amelio. He wants us all to be Mark D'Amelio, sitting there looking at another person get all the fame, get all the money. Take a look here. Let's let Ivanka finish up.
Swam to the islands. We went on a hike, barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated. And it stayed with us ever since. And over the course of many years, we developed the opportunity to help realize its potential and transform it, but with a lot of restraint and care because the land is so beautiful that really...
By the way, stop it for a minute. This is causing riots in Albania. They're rioting over this. They're burning down the head of the Albania. They just burned down that guy's house. He's the prime minister or the leader or something? The president? What is he? I don't know.
I think it was the president's house.
Yeah, they just burned down his house because they were like, we've had enough of this. So we're not going to watch the rest of it. We know what she's saying. We get it. They're buying, rich people are just buying islands, and we're doing it with care. We're doing it with so much care because here's what, folks, this is what that means. They're getting out. If they can't get on a spaceship off the country, they're going to the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. Inside Sazan Island, the Albanian ex-military base that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner want to turn into a luxury resort. The data centers, by the way, you dummies, are not prisons for people that did the vaccine, you QAnon retards. They are data centers, and they're gonna try to take your livelihood. The other thing is they're probably not building a luxury resort. They're going to build something that looks like a luxury resort and then live in it when there's a nuclear war. And that's what it is. They want you to root for them. They want you to be excited for them and happy for them because they made it out. Rich people are probably not going to be able to get off the planet before it inevitably emoliates. But they are going to flee to the middle of the ocean if they can. Nevertheless, Cezanne has already been dubbed Trump Island by angry locals who have made their displeasure and reported a deal clear. Below, we take a closer look at the island with its 3,600 nuclear bunkers, unexploded weapons, bomb shelters, and miles of tunnels. So here's the reality. Everybody's preparing. Everybody's preparing, from Spencer Pratt to Mark D'Amelio. Everybody's doing what they have to do. He's lifting, taking a little bit off the top, skimming from his daughter. And Jared and Ivanka have decided to buy a nuclear bunker in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea because they know something's coming. They don't only know it's coming, they're making it happen. That's the thing. They're not sitting in the dark. They know that all of this tension eventually boils over. The Henry Nowak stuff, the affordability crisis in America, the food, the cost of oil. In the next 6 months, things are going to skyrocket and make this an unlivable place financially. And your only way out, if you're in America, your only way out, you better hope your kid can shake their ass on a Chinese dancing app for money. Or if you're Spencer Pratt, you better grab the gas can. Good luck.